One of my favorite toys as a kid was Tinkertoys. You could build complex structures from a few simple components. Here is my sketch for the construction toy. And there are two components of this toy. There's the hub, which is these cubes with holes in them, and the stick, which is this long stick with connectors on either side. And if you print out a bunch of hubs and a bunch of sticks, you can use that to construct your very own structures from it. Let's start with the hub. And the hub is made out of a box or cube. So I'm going to drag in this red box. And for my sketch, I remember I decided to make it 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters. Now, this cube has all sharp edges. And I want to show you a little trick to round the edges, because I think it looks nicer in this case, and also if it's a toy, rounded edges are less sharp for kids. If I click on this box, there's this slider here called radius. And if I adjust it, you can see it starts to round the corners and edges. If you round it too much, it becomes almost a circle. So I'm going to round it just a little bit until it looks nice. Perfect. So now I have these rounded edges. Now I have to make holes in it. So the way I'm going to do that is with a rectangular hole. I want to make the hole on the side to start with. And before I drag out the hole, I'm going to move the work plane to the side I want to add the hole. So I click on this work plane tool and I click on this side. Now you notice the orange work plane is on the side that I want to add the hole. And when I drag out the hole, it comes on this work plane. And when I move it, it moves parallel to where this work plane is, which is the new side, which is great. So I'm going to resize the hole to 7 millimeters by 7 millimeters by 8 millimeters deep. You'll notice when the work plane is moved, everything else is adjusted relative to that work plane. So if I zoom out here, you can see the blue outline. That would be where the normal work plane is. And I'm going to put it there now so you can see. And normally this black arrow would move it up and down this way. But when my work plane is on this side, that black arrow moves it up and down relative to the work plane, which means relative to that side, which is extremely beneficial. So I'm going to keep it like this, and I'm going to use my align tool this way as well, because I find it more intuitive. So align center this way and align center that way. Great. It's aligned perfect. Now you'll notice when I move the hole around, my hole is no longer exactly on this work plane. That's okay though. If I hit D, it will drop to where I move the work plane. Very helpful. Now I'm going to move this hole in 8 millimeters, so it's perfectly in. Perfect. Now I want to duplicate this, and instead of bringing it to the side right next to it, I'm going to bring it to the side across from it. And there's a reason for that. And it's using the same technique that we used in the more advanced stackable box. So I'm going to duplicate it. Looks like it did nothing. And I can click on this black arrow and move it back 25 millimeters. Now I know it's perfectly aligned on that side. Now that I have those two sides down, I am going to move my work plane back down to the normal setting. Okay? I could use that same exact technique for this side and the top and bottom. But I'm going to use the rotating pattern trick to make this more efficient. So the first step here is I have to click on both holes. So I'm going to click on this first hole, hold shift, and click on the second hole and group it. Why did I do that? Well, the reason I did that is now that's one group and the center of rotation is right in the middle of them. Also, they're right in the middle of this cube. So if I duplicate it and go from the top view and rotate it exactly 90 degrees, I get the holes on that side. You're thinking, great, but now I have to do the top and bottom individually. You don't. You can use that same technique. I'm going to click on this group of holes on this side. I'm going to hit duplicate. It looks like it doesn't do anything. And I'm going to rotate around to get to this angle and then rotate it 90 degrees up. And just like that, I have all the holes for my hub. And all I have to do is now select all the objects, group them, and I got my holes. And I zoom in a little bit to make sure that the holes are not overlapping in the middle, because if it was too small of a cube, the holes could be overlapping and then I couldn't put in multiple sticks at the same time. And there we have it. Our beautiful hub. Now, you could have done it individually. You could have put in the box, lined up the work plane, and put in the hole, and done that for each side. Completely valid, but I wanted to show you that other approach because it's a little more efficient and a little faster. Now, this is a basic hub, and you can use other shapes, of course, for your hub. I want to show you the basics and the technique, and then you can be creative and build your own. Now that we have the basic hub done, we got to work on the stick connectors. All right, for my sketch, I decided to make my stick a cylinder. It doesn't have to be a cylinder though. It could have also been a box or a rectangular prism. But I chose a cylinder because I thought it looked nice. First things first, let's rotate it on its side to 90 degrees. And this length for my sketch is 50 millimeters. You'll notice in my sketch I forgot to actually say what the diameter of this cylinder was. Now the clip is 6.5, so I know it has to be bigger than 6.5, and I'm going to choose a nice even number of 10. If that works, great. If it doesn't, I can change it as I go. And remember that your sketch is a guideline. You don't have to stick with it. All right, let's orbit it around to this side to work on adding the connector. I'm going to move the hub out of the way so it's easier to see. And the connector is made of two parts. It's made of a rectangular prism made from the box and a hole that is also made from the box. All right, let's start with sizing out the solid box. It is 7.8 deep by 6.5 by 6.5. So we'll say 6.5 this way, and up and down is going to be 6.52. I want to line it up with this surface of the cylinder. And we're going to do it with the trick of moving the work plane. So I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to move the work plane to that surface of the cylinder. And I'm going to hit D. And then I'm going to select both by holding the shift, selecting the cylinder as well as the cube. And we use the line tool. I don't have to click on the cylinder to keep it still. It really doesn't matter in this case, but I'm gonna, just because I like it. Center that way and center that way. All right, orbit around, see how that looks. Looks good, and I'm gonna check if that 10 centimeters I chose works well. It does, because it gives me a little leeway, so when the two parts snap together, it doesn't go too deep. I like that look. All right, now let's talk about the hole. And we're going to size this hole. And in my sketch, I said 3.5. Okay. Now, I didn't give a depth, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose maybe 6 millimeters and see what that looks like. In terms of up and down, it really doesn't matter because that doesn't affect the size. I'll show you in a sec. So I'm going to click on the red rectangular prism and then hold shift, select the hole, and use the line tool. Now here I have to click on the red part first so that doesn't move because it's already lined up with the orange cylinder. And I'm going to align it center, and then I'm going to align it the side like that. All right, that looks okay. You'll notice the height doesn't matter as long as it's higher than the red part. If I went in like that, it would make a difference. But if I went this tall versus this tall, it doesn't make a difference. All right, So let's group those two parts together to see what it looks like. Alrighty. You're probably thinking, why did you create this gap? When we did the stackable blocks, we just did a nub for the connector. Well, the advantage of making a gap here is we take advantage of the fact that plastic is flexible when it's thin enough. If I make these parts thin enough, they'll flex a little bit in as it's going into the hub, and that will make a tighter fit. And I won't have to be as exact on my tolerances. The thinner these two pieces are, the more flexible they are. The thicker they are, the less flexible they are. When this connector fits in the hole in the hub here, that flexibility will allow it to fit very snugly and solid, but also allow it to be pulled out. So you get the best of both worlds. You may be thinking, with that flexibility, do I still have to make the hole bigger than the connector? Well, you definitely do from top to bottom. While you have the flexibility from side to side, so it will flex in this way. If you don't have that tolerance from top to bottom, there's no flex there. So you need to build that tolerance in. Now, I need to copy this part and put it on the other side. So I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to move it this way. And you may be thinking, oh, it's 50, the cylinder, so let's move it exactly 50. Well, 50 will be right to the edge there. So you have to do 50 plus the length of the connector, which is 7.8, 57.8. And make sure it's 0 in the other direction. If you forget to do 0 in the back and forth direction, it's okay, you can fix it. That looks pretty good, except it's facing the wrong way. Now, I could use the rotate tool, click here, and rotate it around 180 degrees. That's one approach. But I want to take this time to show you a different tool, and that's the mirror tool. If I go up here and click on mirror, you can mirror any part in multiple directions. And I want to mirror it back and forth this way, so I'm going to click on this arrow and say mirror. And now it's perfectly mirrored. And I have my two connectors. Awesome. I'm going to select both of them and group them. This is great. I have my connectors and I have my hub. And I said before, when you design your own connector, it doesn't have to be a cylinder. You can have any shape here you want. You could have a hexagon. You could have a rectangle. It's really up to you. Be creative with the connectors. You might have a smaller hole so the sides are slightly thicker. You might even, if I ungroup this and ungroup this again, you might round the corners of the connector. So with this original red box, I can turn up the radius a little bit. And let's regroup it. And you'll see we now have rounded corners for a smoother entry into the hub. All right. So we're ready to 3D print, right? Well, almost. The one thing I want to say before I 3D print is it's often good to test out how two things fit together in CAD first. So I'm going to see how this connector fits into the hub. And to do that, I'm going to move the work plane. And I'm going to drop this onto the work plane here. I'm going to select both objects, and then I'm going to align them. Center, center. That is great. Now I can take this, and using the black up and down, I can move it in slightly. And if I zoom in here, I can see it looks pretty good as it goes in. There's some gaps. But in fact, if I click on this hub, I can turn it into a whole template to really see what's going on. And I can see there is some tolerance on both sides. In fact, there should be 0.5 millimeters gaps in there, which it looks like there is. So I did everything correctly. Remember, before you print, turn it back to solid. And with those, if I print out enough sticks and enough hubs, you can create and design your own structures. Play around with it. Make your own construction toy. Try other shapes. You could do a hexagon hub like this shape. But you'll notice it's 6 sides, and you can go all the way up to 12 sides if you want. And you could put holes on all 12 of those sides if you'd like. It's like a Tinkertoy. You could try putting holes in a shape like this, a half sphere. It's up to you. Your creativity, what you want to design, what you think would work well, you get to decide. All right, good luck creating your construction toy. And when we come back, we're going to be working on a slingshot car. And the car takes a lot of the concepts we've already covered and applies them to a larger project. Can't wait to see you there. Good luck.